The Deathloop took Colt for a ride with each and every new beginning. The constructs of time and space were reduced from rules that governed the universe to loose guidelines meant to be tampered with like a plaything. In order to better understand the convoluted plot of Deathloop, we're going to put together a timeline of events to document the occurrences that led to the phenomenon that is Black Reef Island. This theory will also attempt to link together and prove that Deathloop is simply a Dishonored spin-off taking place in the same universe as Arcane Studios' Dishonored series. So put on your tinfoil hats and get ready to take a journey through time and space to find out the truth, and yes, there will be spoilers ahead. Despite what you may be thinking, the events that gave life to the Black Reef phenomenon actually began with the death of a supernatural being known as the Outsider. In the Dishonored series, the Outsider was the physical manifestation of the extra-dimensional place known as the Void, which served as the source of all magic in the universe. After the culmination of the events taking place across the first two Dishonored installments, the Outsider's demise and subsequent separation from the Void resulted in its instability and created fissures in time and space throughout the Empire. Many years later, the Tivian Army's science division, Horizon, discovered anomalies on the island of Black Reef and started conducting experiments in an attempt to harness power over time itself. Horizon established a military presence and constructed the Raketoplan, a manned vehicle designed for spaceflight, and Captain Colt Vaughn volunteered for the launch. Due to haphazard planning, the test flight ended in catastrophe and Colt was trapped in a time loop on Black Reef. After 17 years of repeatedly crash landing the Raketoplan on the island each day, Colt lost all hope to escape and took his own life. To his surprise, his apparent death destabilized the loop and allowed him to return to his original timeline. Upon Colt's return to the Tivian mainland, he was admitted to an asylum as part of a government cover-up and deemed insane. Before long, Eon, a privately funded research corporation, made arrangements to grant Colt freedom in exchange for his continued support to research the Black Reef anomalies. The continued research proved fruitful and yielded results similar to the first time loop on Black Reef. In preparation for the stabilization of the second loop, the 9 founders, known as Visionaries, began to recruit individuals who would inhabit the island and granted them the title of Eternalists. One such visionary was none other than his daughter, Juliana, whose mother was originally a scientist for Horizon during Colt's first visit to Black Reef. The night before the loop's activation, the eccentric billionaires that led the cult of the Eternalists on Black Reef celebrated with a party to commemorate their immortality, and Colt seemingly got drunk on the beach alone. After an unknown period of time, Colt gained awareness of the loop, possibly due to his unique experience with the Black Reef's loop in the past, and attempted to persuade an unaware Juliana to aid him in breaking the loop. Unfortunately, his pleas were unheard, and Juliana refused time and time again. Colt decided the best way to make her see reason was to kill Juliana. Eventually, after multiple iterations of the loop, Juliana gained awareness and began to fight back, learning new skills in the process. As the only 2 individuals armed with the knowledge that the loop was wiping their memories with each morning, Colt and Juliana fought each other for years, repeating the same day over and over again. For reasons unknown, Colt lost his awareness of the loop, but Juliana, desperate to continue their game that redefined the meaning of life and death, continued to kill him in increasingly violent ways to jolt Colt's memory. An interesting thing to note is that after about 130 years, Juliana developed a technique called memory compression that allowed her to continually make room for new memories while retaining the old ones despite the vast amount of knowledge she had acquired in the loop. It's possible that due to the fact that Colt did not have such a resource at his disposal, his memories began to fade over time as the space in his brain to hold memories was overloaded. Black Reef's temporal and spatial anomalies resulted in the intersection of multiple dimensions, and different versions of Colt and his experiences and memories appeared as ghost writings on the walls that provided tips and advice on how to proceed. This information provided Colt with the blueprint he needed to eliminate all 9 visionaries in one loop, and including himself, and break the loop once and for all, just as he had done before. After much trial and error, Colt executed the plan to perfection, using a pistol from the Empire that utilized an ancient firing mechanism derived from whale oil. which is yet further evidence that Deathloop takes place after the events of the Dishonored franchise. It's fitting that these pistols were used to break the loop and dispel the remnants of magic that the Void had left behind in its destruction, as the outsider's symbolic creature was none other than the whale. The sun rises, and a new day was born. Colt wakes up on the beach with Juliana's gun aimed at his face, but in disappointment for releasing them to the world in its current state, she simply uses her shift power to disappear from sight. Colt watches the sunrise and prepares for a new day, free from the shackles of the Deathloop. And that's all for this video. Until next time, it's the Inhuman One, signing out.